Bless the Lord. Bless the Lord. And the scripture text says, Acts 9, verse 36 through 43. Now there was at Joppa a certain disciple named Tabitha, which by interpretation is called Dorcas. This woman was full of good works and alms deeds, which she did. And it came to pass in those days that she was sick and died, whom when they had washed, they laid her in the upper chamber. And for as much as little was nigh to Joppa, and the disciples had heard that Peter was there, they sent unto him 2 men, desiring him that he would not delay to come to them. Then Peter arose and went with them. When he was come, they brought him into the upper chamber, and all the widows stood by him, weeping and showing the coats and the garments which Dorcas made, while she was with them. But Peter put them all forth. He put them out, and kneeled down and prayed, and turning him to the body, said, Tabitha, arise. And she opened her eyes, and when she saw Peter, she sat up. And he gave her his hand, and lifted her up. And when he had called the saints and widows, presented her alive. And it was so known throughout all Joppa, and many believed in the Lord. And it came to pass, that he tarried many days in Joppa with one Simon, a tanner. May the Lord have a blessing on the readers and hearers of his doers, of his holy word. It's not too late. It's not too late. My journey from Dallas to Omaha, Nebraska was a long journey. Around 2 years ago, I traveled on Greyhound bus from Dallas to Omaha. And needless to say that my route was supposed to have been only 14 hours and 30 minutes. But something happened and my route was changed. And the 14 hours and 30 minutes turned into 22 hours. Oh, what a journey. I had 2 layovers, they told me, 2 layovers. One in Oklahoma City for about an hour, and then the next one I had in Kansas City. Needless to say, once I got to Kansas City, I only supposed to have a layover for 2 hours and end up staying another 3 hours. Oh, what a journey. It was overcrowded, unlimited seating, babies crying and whining, frustrated fathers and mothers were miserable. It was during the Christmas holiday. Oh, what a journey. I was rerouted, reticketed, and that means from one destination, you know how life is. You're planning to be at one location at a certain time to get to your destination. But what happens is you're rerouted, you detour, your traffic signs are all over the journey way. And then your journey becomes something totally different than what you expected. Oh, what a journey. Frustrated, tired, and hungry. And as much as I like to eat, I was really miserable. Isn't that how this life journey is? A way of rerouting and changing plans. Our plans is not like the Lord's plan. Delaying our dreams, experiences ups and downs and highs and lows. Obstacles and opposition, conflicts and chaos. Isn't that how our journey is, church? All of us are on a journey. My journey may not be your journey, but we're all on a journey. But the blessing is to know that it's good to know that we're on a journey, that we're still in the land of the living. Let's look at the text. Not only my journey, but Peter had a journey. Peter, he's not only healing a man that was paralyzed to his bed, bedridden for 8 years. Peter encountered trouble in Joppa. And you know how trouble is, don't you? Trouble has no invitation. It just pops up. You can be on a computer and things just seem to pop up. That's just how trouble is. Trouble has no friends but have all enemies. Trouble just shows up. And that's what happened on Peter's journey. Not only was Peter troubled, but the people were troubled. Isn't that how life is? We're on a journey, not knowing exactly if we're going to reach our destination. But God is with us. God was with me, and God is with Peter. Let's look at the verse 36 and 37. There's a disciple. Her name is Tabitha. She's a seamstress. Tabitha, she's a disciple. Notice what it says. It doesn't talk about her association. Well, actually, her occupation first. It mentions her association. She is a disciple. She's a follower of Jesus. She has the characteristics of Christ. She's a follower of Jesus. She is a disciple. And so the reader wanted us to see this in the text. She's a disciple. And she's a seamstress. But Tabitha, with her occupation and her association, she was very well known in the community of Joppa. Tabitha, the Hebrew word for Tabitha is Tashbayah. She's a disciple. She's living for Christ. And look what her occupation is besides seamstress. She sews clothes and to clothe the poor. Why do bad things happen to good people? She's a good person. I know a lot of times we question God. Why do bad things happen to good people? Well, we're not exempt from trouble. We're not exempt from trials and tribulations. We're not exempt. One reason why good things happen, bad things happen to good people is that we are an imperfect being living in an imperfect world. We are an imperfect being living in an imperfect world. We are not exempt. So don't get too frustrated while you're on your journey. It is normal to have troubles, trials, and tribulations. Pressures of life, trials, suffering, and shame, and problems and pressures of life. He encountered devastating dilemma. This took place in Joppa. He just left Ananias that was healed from bedridden, from palsy. He was delivered and set free. But these women that was weeping, they were disturbed. They began to make such a noise, just like I was in that bus station. It was so much noise, so much chaos and confusion. They began to make so much noise that Peter put them out. They were weeping widows. Tabitha, she hung around with the widows, and that's not a bad thing. They were weeping widows, and even the saints were crying. They were weeping. Why were the people crying? Why were they weeping so heavily and crying so heavily? Could it be possible, saints, that sometimes our friends and loved ones perhaps are more concerned about our craft than our condition? Perhaps they were more concerned about her possession, that they could not profit from her possession. Perhaps they were burdened down because they were not able to be blessed by her blessings or benefit from her blessings. I know you're in the church, but sometimes it's possible. There's a possibility that sometimes church folks is not really concerned about your condition, but about your craft. How can they glorify in your gift? Pressure, they're devastating. It's a dilemma in Joppa. But now they were disturbed because Tabitha had died. She did die. But notice what Peter does. And this is a miracle. This is the second miracle after the man that was bedridden. This is a